Hello, and today in our textbook Solutions, second edition, intermediate level, on page 75, we do 8b, the passive. Pasivne rečenice. Pasivne rečenice kao i aktivne rečenice menjaju se po vremenima. Pasivne rečenice su korisne kada nam je radnja bitnija nego ko čini tu radnju. All right, well, let's have a look here. I can identify and use different forms of the passive. Let's read the text first. In the 1860s, a two-wheeled bicycle with pedals was built by a Frenchman called Ernest Michau. Other kinds of bicycle had been invented earlier in the century, but Ernest Michau's invention, the velocipede, was easier to ride, and thousands were sold throughout Europe from 1869. Over the next few decades, several improvements were made. Tires were fitted to the wheels, and later a chain was added to the pedals. Most recently, bicycles have been invented with pedals at the front and a seat with a back rest. They're comfortable to ride and they're fast too. Bicycles are more popular today than ever before. About 80 million new bicycles are manufactured every year in China alone. In cities around the world, cycle lanes are being built and cycling is being encouraged by governments. It's possible that in 10 or 20 years' time, cars will be banned from city centres and only cyclists and pedestrians will be allowed. So, having read the text, we answer the following. Are these sentences true or false? Number 1, the velocipede was the first bicycle ever built. This is false. Other kinds of bikes had been built, but the velocipede was easier to ride. Number 2, bicycles with backrests are slower but more comfortable. This is false. They are faster and more comfortable. Number 3, China manufactures about 80 million bicycles a year. Yes, this is true. All right, well, let's have a look at exercise number 2. Remember that we use the verb be plus past participle when we form the passive. So we complete the table with the examples of the passive in red in the text. Znači ovo što je naznačeno u tekstu, to ovdje ispunjavamo u ovoj tabeli. The passive present simple upisujemo are manufactured. Present continuous upisujemo is being encouraged. Past simple upisujemo were sold. Present perfect have been invented. Past perfect upisujemo had been invented. Future with will be banned. We use the passive when we don't know who or what performed the action, or we want to focus mainly on the action itself. We may know who performed it, in which case we can add by to say who or what the agent is. Many sentences can be expressed in the active or passive that the meaning is the same, but the emphasis is different. Mnoge rečenice možemo napisati i u aktivnim rečenicama i u pasivnim rečenicama i da ima potpuno isti značaj, ali razlika je u gde hoćemo, šta hoćemo da naznačimo. Znači, ako hoćemo da naznačimo radnju, onda koristimo pasivne rečenice. On page 75, we go and do exercise number 4. Exercise number 4, make these sentences passive. If appropriate, write who or what performed the action. Number 1. Kirkpatrick Macmillan built the first bicycle in 1839. Ovo je aktivna rečenica. Mi je pretvaramo u pasivnu. The first bicycle was built by Kirkpatrick Macmillan in 1839. Exercise for number 2. People ride bicycles all the time in Oxford. Mi pretvaramo ovu aktivnu rečenicu u pasivnu. Bicycles are ridden all the time in Oxford. Number 3. Do they hold the Tour de France every year? Ovu aktivnu rečenicu pretvaramo u pasivnu. Is the Tour de France held every year? Number 4. They've banned cars from the center of Rome. U pasivu je cars have been banned from the center of Rome. Number 5. Sam Whittingham set the world record for the fastest speed on a bicycle. U pasivu, the world record for the fastest speed on a bicycle was set by Sam Whittingham. Number 6. People are designing faster bikes all the time. U pasivu, faster bikes are being designed all the time. Number 7. They won't allow electric bikes to compete in races. Pretvara se u electric bikes won't be allowed to compete in races. Grammar Builder 8.1, page 122. Strana je 122. The passive. We make passive forms with the verb be plus the past participle. There is a list of irregular past simple forms and past participle forms in the workbook. Tu su one 3 kolone, to proverite ako niste sigurni kako se menja. Tense, present simple, passive form. Sweets are made of sugar, are made. Present continuous. A new supermarket is being built, is being built. Past simple. Television was invented in 1926. Was invented. Present perfect. My car has been repaired. Has been repaired. Past perfect. The keys had been lost earlier. Had been lost. Future with will. Your dress will be cleaned soon. Will be cleaned. In passive constructions, we use by when we want to say who or what performed the action. Koristimo by kad želimo da znamo ko je učinio tu radnju. The jet engine was invented by Frank Whittle. Okay, so on page 122, exercise number 1, complete the passive sentences. Okay, so number 1, the next Olympics will be held in 3 months' time. Number 2, when I opened the fridge, I noticed that my chocolate bar had been eaten. Number 3, how many jobs have been lost since they introduced the new computer system? Have been. Number 4, our house was burgled last night, but only a few things were taken. Number 5, every year hundreds of mobile phones are left in taxis. I'm going to change my job. Number 6, please keep the windows closed while your car is being washed. Number 1 will be. Number 2 had been. Number 3 have been. Number 4 was, were. Number 5 are. Number 6 is being. Okay, so now exercise number 2. Page 122. Complete the sentences using the passive form of the verbs below. Choose the correct tense. Znači, to treba da pretvorimo u pasiv i da u pasivnu rečenicu i da pogodimo vreme. All right, so let's have a look. Number 1, her latest novel will be published next month. Will be published. Future. Number 2, the same currency is used in about 20 European countries. Is used. Present simple. Number 3, Alexander the Great was taught by Aristotle. Was taught. Past simple. Number 4, last year a CD containing top secret information was left on a bus. Was left. Past simple. Number 5, over 300 soldiers have been killed by landmines since the conflict began last year. Have been killed. Present perfect. Number 6, don't look now, but I think we are being watched. Are being watched. Present continuous. Vraćamo se nazad na stranicu 75, page 75. We do exercise number 5. Complete the text using the active or passive form of the verbs in brackets. Ovdje treba da malo da smo pažljiviji, treba da prepoznamo koja je aktivna rečenica i koja je pasivna, pa tako da je ispunimo. So, the Tour de France has been held almost every year in France since 1903. Has been held. About 20 teams of cyclists take part with 9 riders in each team. Take part. The race lasts for 21 days, and in that time, about 3,200 kilometres are covered. A few changes are made to the route every year, but the race always ends on the Champs-Élysées in Paris. Are made, ends. The first Tour de France was won by Maurice Garin, was won. The following year, Garin was disqualified because he had travelled part of the distance by train. Was disqualified, had travelled. In fact, in the early days, competitors often cheated, and some competitors were attacked by fans of their rivals. Cheated. Were attacked. Who's a cheater in my class? Advertising has been allowed since 1930, when organisers agreed to allow lorries to follow the cyclists for the first time. Has been allowed, agreed. Today, about 11 million free items are given to spectators each year during the race. I'm going next year then. Are given. Okay, so this is the last exercise, number 6. In pairs, complete the sentences with a passive form of the verbs in brackets, then choose the correct information. All right, well, let's have a look here. Number 1, the world's first plane was flown by the Wright brothers, 1903. Number 2, in 2000, the Channel Tunnel was opened between England and France. Number 3, tickets for space flights are being sold today by Virgin Galactic for $200,000 each. Number 4, the construction of Sagrada Familia in Barcelona will not be finished until 2026. Number 5, Skoda cars are manufactured in the Czech Republic. Are manufactured. And number 6, according to US plans, a manned spacecraft will be sent to Mars. All right, so that's the end of the textbook. Now we go to the workbook. Workbook on page, one moment. Just one moment. It's 8B. Page 67. On page 67, we do exercise 1, 2, and 3. And that's all for now. Goodbye.